Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Ashtadarashata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Seventh Canto, The Science of God, Chapter 13, The Behavior of a Perfect Person, Text 24. Tishnaya Bhava Vahinya Yogyai Kamar Apuryaya Karmani Karyamano Ham Nana Yonishu Yojitaha Tishnaya Bhavavahinya Yogyai Kamar Upuryaya Karmani Karyamanoham Nana Yonishu Yojitaha Tishnaya Bhavavahinya Yogyai Kamar Upuryaya Karmani Karyamanoham Nana Yonishu Yojitaha Tishnaya Bhavavahinya Yogya kamar upuryaya. Karmani karyamanoham. Nana yonishu yojitaha. Like Tishnaya, because of material desires. Bhavahinya, under the sway of the material laws of nature. Yogai, as it is befitting. Kamai, by material desires. Apuryaya, without end, one after another. Karmani, activities. Karyamanaha, constantly being compelled to perform. Aham, I. Nana yonishu, in various forms of life. Yojitaha, engaged in the struggle for existence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because of insatiable material desires, I was being carried away by the waves of material nature's laws, and thus I was engaging in different activities, struggling for existence in various forms of life. Purport. As long as a living entity wants to fulfill various types of material desire, he must continuously change from one body to accept another. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that as a small piece of grass falls in a river and is tossed about with different types of wood and tree branches, the living entity floats in the ocean of material existence and is dashed and tossed amidst material conditions. This is called the struggle for existence. One kind of fruitive activity causes the living entity causes the living being to take one form of body, and because of actions performed in that body, another body is created. One must therefore stop these material activities, and the chance to do so is given in the human form of life. Specifically, our energy to act should be engaged in the service of the Lord, for then materialistic activity will automatically stop. One must fulfill one's desires by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, for He knows how to fulfill them. Even though one may have material desires, one should therefore engage in the devotional service of the Lord. That will purify one's struggle for existence. Akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena hijeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 2-10. Anyabilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, favorably, and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. Om Jnana Timidindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Ladmadatamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Makam Kaditavachalam Pangam Langaya Teganam Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitarinam Vancha Kapadribishcha Kripasindubevicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation once again. Because of insatiable material desires, I was being carried away by the waves of material nature's laws, and thus I was engaged in different activities, struggling for existence in various forms of life. So this personality, who Prahlad Maharaj is questioning, again he's lying there, as if like a python. I don't think you exactly call him Python Man, but so he's starting to answer Prahlad Maharaj, and he starts by saying that he was just an ordinary soul, just wandering all over the place, accepting various forms, different bodies, based on insatiable material desires. So he's not claiming to be a Nitya Siddha. He didn't say that, I came to this world for the purpose of showing the example of a self-realized soul, or for delivering the conditioned souls. But he's saying, I started, this is how my story started. I was just wandering all over the place from various body to various bodies. So this is how he starts it. His starts answering Prahlad Maharaj's questions, and you could say telling his life story, or his life's story. And eventually, we will see how he comes to the point of telling Prahlad Maharaj how he got to this particular state that he is now, which is a liberated state. So similarly, in our coming to Krishna consciousness, we don't come as liberated souls. Hopefully we leave as liberated souls, but we don't come as liberated souls. We come as conditioned souls, conditioned by material nature. We come not to engage in pure devotional service, but hopefully over time we engage in pure devotional service. And that is the goal. The goal is to engage in pure devotional service. As Srila Prabhupada quotes, Anya Bilashita Shunyam, and this is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Srila Rupa Goswami is giving us this shloka to explain to us what is the standard of pure devotional service. And the standard is that it has to be free from any fruitive desires, and it also has to be free from philosophical speculation, mental speculation. And it has to be rendered favorably. So we have to think of Krishna favorably. There's some examples in the scripture of persons who were thinking of Krishna quite a lot, but they weren't thinking of him favorably. Any of the younger devotees want to mention who this person might be? A famous example in the 10th canto. Who? Kamsi? Kamsa. Yeah, Kamsa. Kamsa, he was always thinking about Krishna. Shishupal was also very Krishna conscious. Kamsa was always thinking about Krishna. But what were his thoughts? Some of his thoughts. What was he thinking in relation to Krishna? He's going to come and kill me. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Let me go send some demons to Vrindavan to kill Krishna, 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 Krishna. So he's always thinking of Krishna. But he was doing so unfavorably. He wasn't thinking of Krishna in a loving mood. So the our acharyas, Rupa Goswami and others, they say that we need to think of Krishna, but in a favorable way, for his pleasure, according to what he likes. We give him what he likes. You have the example of course, we have Kartik just around the corner, but you have the example of Mother Yashoda and Krishna in this Damodar Leela, and we see that Krishna, he stopped his mother. She was churning yogurt, right? Yeah. She was churning yogurt, and then he grabbed the stick and he stopped her, and he said that he was that he was hungry. So Mother Yashoda began to feed him, and while she was feeding him, there was milk boiling on the stove. Now, this milk was special milk from special cows near Govardhan Hill, special grass. And this milk was for the pleasure of Krishna. She was making it for Krishna. So, but at one particular point, Mother Yashoda, she puts Krishna down because this milk starts to boil over. And our previous teachers, they explained that everything in the spiritual world is conscious. So the milk was thinking that if Krishna becomes satisfied by Mother Yashoda feeding him, then what will be my service? So then the milk boiled over. So Mother Yashoda put Krishna down, and she went to tend to the milk. But then the question comes, well, externally it seemed that Krishna was very angry. But we see he became angry, he was crying, he was transcendentally unhappy or frustrated with that. And then he went and started to break different pots of yogurt and butter and so on. But the question comes is that was Mother Yashoda's, or how was Mother Yashoda's, that act that she did, although it seemed like it displeased Krishna, how was it actually pleasing to Krishna? What do you think, Sankarshan? How was it pleasing to Krishna? Yeah, she was thinking it was in the realm of service to Krishna, and she was taking care of that which is connected to Krishna. Remember what Lord Shiva says to Parvati? You want to say it in the mic? Tadi
Anam sarvesham Vishnu aranam padam tasma paranam devi tadiyanam samarchanam.
Would you like to give the trends?
Okay. Of all forms of, because Parvati is, what's the highest form of worship? So he's answering a question. I'm sorry, of all different kinds of worship of Vishnu is the best. But even better than that, worshipping of things in relation to Vishnu, including his devotees and his yogurt and his temple.
Yeah. So it was in relation to Krishna, this milk. It wasn't separate. So it was still in the realm of pure devotional service. But you have Kamsa, who is the opposite example of just thinking of Krishna unfavorably, how to kill Krishna. And Shishupal he was just criticizing him. I think he went up to about 100. Yeah, he had 100 chances. And then so So we want to engage in Krishna's service favorably according to what he likes, and therefore it is explained in Scripture what Krishna likes, what he wants from us, what his desires are, who he is as a personality. There's no need to speculate. Speculate. I speculate that, what's that Russian soup? How do you say it? Borscht? Okay, borscht. So we speculate that borscht is Krishna's favorite. I had a dream last night, and in that dream, Krishna told me borscht was his favorite. Now that might be your favorite, but it's not Krishna's favorite. And anyways, that's a whole nother topic. I mean, it says in Nectar of Devotion that you should offer things that are like delicacies or very nice, within the realm of patram pushpam palam tvayam, vegetarian obviously, within the realm of where you are in a particular location, be it fruit or, so it's questionable. Someone say, well, this is a delicacy where I am, right? In Russia, borscht, so let me offer to Krishna. But Krishna has his favorite type of food, for example. Just like Srimati Radharani, it says that Srimati Radharani, she specifically likes, Sankarshan? What Radharani likes? What vegetable? Huh? Arbi, yeah. They say she also likes this particular plum chutney, which we used to make on Radhastami. You heard about that? Yeah, that's common. But I'm not sure, yeah. So these different things are described in Scripture, or for example, that Krishna's a cowherd. He plays a flute, right? So we give Krishna a flute. The pujaris give Krishna a flute. Now, if they speculate, well, hey, I want to give Krishna a trombone or something, I'll put it up there or whatever. I mean, devotees do different things. But there's no need to speculate. And so there's so many details outlined within Scripture. So when we think of Madhya Yashoda and other such great devotees, they are the standard for pure devotional service. And we have to try to follow those different devotees, these different pure devotees. Now someone says, okay, well, what if I have material desires? What should I do? Should I just go and try to fulfill all my material desires and chant Hare Krishna once a week? Maybe. Or should I continue to serve Krishna? What should I do? Well, the Bhagavatam explains that in the second canto, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes it, Akama sarvakama va moksha kama dadadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, that we should, whether we are akama, no material desires, it's a very high platform to be on, or sarvakama, all material desires, or moksha kama, desire and liberation, we should, tivrena bhakti yogena, we should intensely serve Krishna, engage in bhakti yoga. So for persons who have sarvakama, you could say, oh, I don't have sarvakama, I don't have all material desires, I have some material But somebody who has material desires, if they engage in the process of Krishna consciousness, they will become purified. They will not want anything material over time. Like sometimes I brought up that I had to pick up a suitcase from a store, and somebody was wearing a shirt, and the shirt said they were shopping, and they seemed like they were enjoying shopping, and the shirt said, "All I want is everything." So, no, that's honest. But yeah. So what are some examples of someone who had material desires but who continued to serve Krishna, or somehow or other came in contact with Krishna and became purified. What are some common examples that Srila Prabhupada would tell? Okay, Dhruva Maharaj is the most famous one. Are there any other ones? Aditi? Payavrata. She became purified. Mm. There's one story about this person who, of course, Dhruva Maharaj is the most famous example because he had very extreme material desires, and that he wanted a greater kingdom than his great-grandfather. Is that right? Yeah, he wanted a greater kingdom. So it's not that he just, I mentioned this before, but it's not that he just wanted a nice mansion in La Jolla and maybe one in Hawaii and maybe one in Spain or something, but he wanted like everything, like the whole universe practically. He wanted to be in charge. It's not that he wanted just to be the president of the United States or something. He wanted like full sovereignty over everything pretty much. So you could imagine such a material desire. Of course, he went to Krishna, but he became purified, and he came to the point of, you want to chant that shloka, Javada Prabhu? When he sees Lord Vishnu, Hari Bhakti Sudoya.
Yeah, Sthana Bilashi. Yeah, Sthana Bilashi tapasistitoham tvam praptavan deva manindra guhyam. So Vishnu just came, he's speaking to Vishnu. Kacham bichinban abhidibhya ratnam swaman katatosmi varangyache. Sthana Bilasi. I wanted a kingdom so great, Sthana Bilashi. And so I was situated in penance, in austerity, tapasistitoham. But now I've gotten you, tvam praptavan, who was hidden away even from the greatest munis and yogis, Deva Munindra Guhyam. So now I realize that kingdom I wanted, even Brahmas or whatever, is like broken glass. Kacham vichin. I was searching for broken glass, but I have gotten the Divya Ratnam, the divine jewel of your darshan. And therefore, my Lord, I don't want anything else. I'm completely satisfied.
Yeah,
and
nice.
let me just say one quick note. It'll take a few seconds. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes 4 people who aren't pure devotees, but that they come to him. Chaturvadha bhajantemam jana sukritano, they're pious, sukritarojana, arto, jigyasu, artarti, jnanicha bhadatarshava. So, arta means those who are in distress. Common category people go to God. Those who are curious, jigyasu. Artarti, those who are after wealth. And the commentators, Baladev especially, he gives Dhruva as an example of that. Not so much that he's poverty-stricken, but that his goal is wealth. Those who are looking to become very, very wealthy. They also, if they're pious, they'll go to Krishna. If they're really lucky, they'll get purified of that.
Yes, you have Dhruva Maharaj. He said, I'm completely satisfied seeing you. I was looking for this kingdom, which is like broken glass, but now I've seen you, this Divya Ratnam. It's a divine jewel of your darshan. So now I'm fully satisfied. You also have another transformation. Apparently some transformations happen when people go to the forest, but he had this person, a thief. Srila Prabhupada tells this story of a thief. He goes there and he hears that Krishna... Yeah, he heard in some meeting that Krishna got all these jewels, has all these jewels. So then he goes to the forest and he's looking for Krishna. And then he finds Krishna there, and he has rings and necklaces and earrings, and these are expensive things. It's like real fine quality things. So then the thief, apparently he's a pious thief, so he asks him, he asked Krishna, "Can you give me some of those?" And then Krishna says, "Well, I can't do that." And then the thief says, "Well, why not?" And then Krishna says, "Well, my mother will be upset with me, so I can't." But then Srila Prabhupada explains that in the association of Krishna, he becomes purified, and he just doesn't want it. He becomes advanced. So, whatever particular state our mind is in, when we come in contact with devotees, when we come in contact with Krishna, then that is the greatest benefit. That is our greatest benefit. That is the greatest opportunity. And this is the beginning of us becoming liberated and us becoming gradually free, coming to the point of pure devotional service. So, does anybody, are there any questions or, yes, comments?
If I could. Is that all right?
Yep.
All right. Prabhupada referred to this famous verse, Akama Sabakama Va. So I just wanted to share with you one. This is like, of all of the different things that I found that I made a revision on, this is like a really amazing one. So in the purport to that verse, Prabhupada talks about what real desirelessness is. Akama, so the verse begins with akama, which is a noun. A person who is desireless is known as an akama. So I'll just read from the beginning of the second paragraph of the purport here. An akama is one who has no material desire. A living being, naturally being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, Purusham Purnam, has as his natural function to serve the Supreme Being, just as the parts and parcels of the body or the limbs of the body are naturally meant to serve the complete whole. So then, what does desireless actually mean? Desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, or anyway, look like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Now, I read that, and no one noticed that this was a problem. You know, this sounded kind of off. Desire satisfaction only from the Supreme. Well, that makes sense, you know, because by serving Krishna we'll be satisfied in this way. You know. No, that's not what Prabhupada said. I have a facsimile of the original thing that he typed out. The second canto, you may not know, he wrote entirely in India. And he brought the whole manuscript with him. And from there it was produced in America. In fact, Hayagriva Prabhu, his first job was retyping the whole thing, because Prabhu was so frugal that everything would, to the end of the line, and using every inch, you don't have any room to mark in there with a red pen. So if he's going to edit it, he needs to retype it, retype the entire thing. So what Prabhupada said, actually, desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus desire only the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. You see the difference? Not desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. So, anyway, I'm glad you're happy that I fixed that.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, about this not desiring satisfaction, because it's a good point, and it was a good point that you caught.
Darbas of Jiva Goswami. Prabhupada doesn't tell us which one, which explains this, and is just like a little condensation of Anya Bilashita Shunya. He says, Bhajaniya Padama Purusha Sukha Matra Swasukatvam. Bhajaniya means the worshipable, Purusha means Lord. The worshipable Lord, that's Krishna. Padama Purusha. Bhajaniya Padama Sukha Matra, only the happiness of the Swasukatvam. One finds one's own happiness only in the happiness of the Supreme Lord Krishna. That's pure devotion. And you see. So that's what we should strive for. And then you're completely liberated and headed back to God.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, it is said that until you are purified, you cannot see Krishna. But here we are saying, just for an example, this thief or Dhruv Maharaj, they are not purified. They still have material desires, but they are able to see and interact with Krishna. How? Okay, then what about the thief? So
What? In relation to the thief, that he saw Krishna, but then you're saying, how did he see Krishna if he wasn't purified? But then he became purified. Well, there's many persons who maybe didn't realize at the moment, but it seems that he had a transformation, obviously, that happened. So that happens sometimes. People have a transformation. It may not. I think, Javit, you like to say something?
I mean, the thing is, when he was thinking like that, I was thinking, well, wait a minute. We understand that Krishna's there,
Yeah.
right? So, anyone can come into this temple, including us, and we're not completely purified. And then what about the battlefield of Kurukshetra? You had all these armies and everything. So the point is, you may see Krishna, but you don't really understand who he is. You see?
No dash.
Huh?
No dash. We see, but no dash.
Yeah, but just being able to see, just like anyone walks in the temple or anyone hears the kirtan, they're beginning to get purified. The real thing is that from your experience, just like this thief, Prabhupada said he was serious. So I recall, because I've heard this a lot of times. He was really serious, meaning he really wanted to, get the jewels. So he wanted to see Krishna. So Krishna, because of his seriousness and knew that he could be purified, he appeared to him. And what I remember, Prabhupada said finally that after he was asking for the jewels and again Krishna, and he gave him the jewels, and then he became a pure devotee. He gave him a jewel, maybe. But the point is it comes up in the Bhagavad Gita because so many people could see Krishna, but they couldn't recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because he's there, because he agreed to come, one will become purified just by that. But your attitude is the whole difference. Like as you pointed out, Kamsa wasn't pure. He saw Krishna, but his fate was he didn't attain love for Krishna, but at least he merged and attained some kind of liberation. So it's a question of how serious you are for purification. And Dhruva, because he followed the orders of Narada Muni and went under that and was chanting the holy name, Vasudevaya, therefore he became so purified that Krishna came when he saw him.
Are you satisfied, Averell?
Sam,
You're fully satisfied?
not.
You don't need anything else now? Like Dhruva Maharaj, I'm fully satisfied.
I am satisfied with this answer.
Okay, good. All right, any last?
Hare Krishna.
I think Veer Chandra had a comment, and then we could go to your question.
Of course, I can wait, Prabhu. No problem.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. I think maybe one more example is elephant Gajendra, but it's not. He wanted to, to save his life.
Yeah, Gajendra. You're saying he's an example of material desire? Mm.
He thought he remembered the prayer from previous life and held up the Lord.
You should make it. I was just thinking, you should make a little drama out of that. It'd be nice, like a child, that they put on the dramas. That'd be nice. Yeah. Gajendra and the crocodile and prayers. Thank you for your comment. Okay, Vijay Krishna Das.
Yes, Balaram Prabhu, thank you very much. You're most kind. Dandavat Pranams. Prabhu, I see at the end of the translation that the Brahmana is mentioning and condemning his struggle for existence in various forms of life. So based on this, my question is, you know better than me that the Vedic aphorism says that variety is the mother of pleasure. And my question is, what is the harm of struggling for existence in various forms of life when the Vedic aphorism says that variety is the mother of pleasure. I may be struggling, but I am experiencing variety in the sense of experiencing different forms of life in material life. So what is the harm?
All right, thank you. Well, Prahlad Maharaj, he says, Punascharva Charvananam, that this variety that you're mentioning, you can say, hey, I'm just experiencing variety, this sense gratification, this body, different. But Prahlad Maharaj, he compares it just to chewing the chewed. It's something that's already been experienced, and that is not, what to speak of the particular level of happiness, it's not real happiness in the ultimate sense. It is false happiness or illusory happiness. And therefore, to keep on, if you want to say, variety is the mother of enjoyment, then in regards to this type of, in regards to material existence, then that's a mistake. Because
why a mistake?
That happiness will never satisfy us. It will always leave us frustrated because we're trying to repose our love in imperfect persons, in perfect situations. Whereas if we direct our love towards Krishna, then we will be fully satisfied. Just like Dhruva Maharaj says, I'm fully satisfied. And in that loving of Krishna, in that serving of Krishna, there is plenty of variety, in which, variety is the mother of enjoyment.
If I could add just one.
Yes, Srivita Prabhu wants to add something.
The variety in the material world, within which there's also varieties of suffering, but if you find something pleasurable, it's got to have some varieties to it, and therefore that's a perverted reflection of the variety in the spiritual world. The whole point of the varieties of enjoyment is an argument against Mayavad, whereas there's no details, there's no variety, it's just a white light. For a devotee, that's like going to hell. Kaivalyam narakayate. Because the devotee is enjoying the relationship with Krishna, who is the ultimate variety in his world and everything. But if he merges in the void, then there's no Krishna, there's no you don't have a body, there's no variety or anything. It's like going to hell. So the real key is that there's two different arguments there. The varieties of other enjoyment means, okay, we're not going to go after Brahmananda because that's just a drop in the ocean of Premananda, because you have all of these varieties of Leela and everything. But the varieties in the material world, we don't want to get bewildered by them and use whatever we can in the material world, including our own senses, to connect to Krishna and learn how to take pleasure in all the varieties of service and the varieties of things we can cook and offer to Krishna and all that. So that's the idea. You understand, Vijay Krishna?
Oh, in full. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Balaram Prabhu, for your answer.
Okay, thank you very much for attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, Vijay Krishna Prabhu.
You're welcome.
The devotees were feeling separation from you.
Oh, the feeling was mutual.
Okay. All right, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.